Which Side Podcast is a proud member of the Which Side Media Collective.
This week's episode is brought to us by the Which Side Collective store. It's the holidays, and I know that a lot of you don't celebrate the holidays, but you still get gifts for people because it's just like the cultural thing to do. So if you're looking to get a gift, you can always get something from the Collective store.
I take gifts too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on that store that I don't have that I really want. So feel free to give us a gift as well.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I really want the vegan with the AK-47 hoodie.
That's cool.
I've said that previously.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
It would be really nice.
I'll take one of those too.
Yeah.
So just go to whichsidecollective.org and check out everything we have. A lot of the options that we have go to prisoner support. Everything else also goes to the collective to help promote future content and current content.
And we do it all ourselves. So we make everything that's on there, meaning that the collective keeps all of the money on there as well. So it's not like we only get a small percentage. We get all of it. It's the best way to support the show and get something for yourself at the same time, or someone you care about, or hate. I mean, if you want, you can send a shirt to someone you hate. I won't stop you.
I just added my new grand jury zine on, so check it out. We know you've probably neglected to get a holiday gift for somebody, so use code FUCKSHIPPING for free domestic shipping, or code FUCKBORDERS for $5 off international shipping for the rest of December. So check it out.
Whichsidecollective.org.
That was cool.
This is episode 161.
Yeah, we talk with Lauren Lockey from Sage Mountain Animal Sanctuary.
Yeah, it's a brand new animal sanctuary that they're just getting off the ground. So it's a really fun, awesome episode. I'm really excited to go up there and see their new facility.
Yeah, and they're going to be doing a lot with just outreach and activism on top of animal sanctuary.
So stick around for that.
Check it out.
Hey, Jordan, what news and events do we have going on?
On Monday, December 14th, if you are in the Salt Lake area, you can go to the Anarchist Black Cross Prisoner Letter Writing Night. It's 1 week early because we just changed it because we can't make it to the next one. So if you have a problem with that, then you could do another one.
You world traveler, you.
Right? So check it out. We're actually going to be changing it to the second Monday of every month starting next year. So do it.
Sweet.
This week's listener shout out comes from Becky. Becky wanted to say thank you to us for being an inspiration and having great content. She also wanted to shout out the organization Recovering from Religion's Secular Therapist Project. Their website, seculartherapy.org, provides users with access to secular mental health professionals in their community. This free service is a vital source for those looking to find therapists who will not proselytize nor introduce religious biases into recovery process, or for those seeking specialists in religion recovery as they experience deconversion of faith.
I would have loved that when I was getting out of Mormonism.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
That's an awesome organization. Thanks for that shout out.
If you'd like to support the show and have us read a listener shout out from you, or even record your own, you can go to whichsidepodcast.com, click on the donate tab. I'm going to slingshot this over to Jeremy.
Wow! There was a lot this week, but I choose a fairly recent one just because I think it's good to remember recent things. So, Saturday, December 12th, 2011. Pretty recent.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the Occupy movement shut down West Coast ports.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was way cool.
Yeah, some amazing videos of it that you can get online. That's what I love about newer things. Like, you can actually see it.
Yeah.
So, check that out. I get these little tidbits of history out of the Slingshot Personal Organizer. Right now is the perfect time to pick one up, because you can get the 2016 ones right now at a local info shop or an online info shop like AK Press.
I really hope you enjoy this episode.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side?
I was just saying, how's your day been so far?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Actually, heading to Ohio on Thursday morning. So, just trying to get, caught up on a few things and, get ready to head out early on Thursday. So.
Are you driving to Ohio?
No. We are flying, into Cincinnati. My, part of my family's there. My dad and my stepmom are there, they're actually here part of the year and then in, Cincinnati for the spring and fall. And then my brother lives there and a few other of my siblings. But my brother's even though he eloped with his wife, they eloped like last year. They're doing like a wedding. They're doing a wedding this weekend.
So is it like a Thanksgiving wedding thing? Does your family do the whole Thanksgiving thing?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because it was already, there was some family coming in. And so actually myself and Dave were not going to go. And then once we heard that it was, they turned it into a wedding, then obviously we are going now. So it should be fun. And it'll be good to see everyone, my stepsisters, and one of them lives in Alaska, and I haven't seen her in a long time, and brother from San Francisco coming in, and a few cousins, and yeah, it should be good. It's short. We're there through Tuesday, so that's just enough time with the family.
Yeah,
just enough time. 5 days is good.
Sometimes I wish I could have my family in those small doses, but unfortunately, they're all here in the valley, so I get fucked that way.
So yeah.
So
we get to see them pretty often, which is good and bad.
So how is the family with like your veganism and everything?
They're pretty open about it, and actually they're becoming since I've been sending them more and more information, especially with the environmental impact and health, they are way more open to it and surprised. Like most people, you don't really know about those things. I mean, I was purely in it for the animals when I became vegetarian at 11, but the last few years, learning more and more about the environment and health has been even more eye-opening for me. And so to talk to them about that, they're actually way more understanding and get it. They're not, it's always produces a little bit of anxiety going with the whole family because I know there's going to be meat. But I kind of go through phases where I'm like, I just can't even go. I'm not going to go. I can't do it. To, that's not going to do anything to shut people out, So I just go and if I'm asked anything, then I'm open to talking about it. But a few people in my family, it's funny because when I was younger, we were all vegetarian. All my siblings, we all kind of did it together. And then as time went on, each one kind of dropped off, and I'm the last one here. But they're becoming more, they're getting it more and more. I mean, even sending them clips, short movie clips from YouTube, through the email and about the environment, especially, they're blown away by it. So, I think that, they're becoming more open. So.
I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one that goes in spurts of just like, I can't deal with it, fuck it, to finally being like, well, you kind of have to. Yeah, you kind of do. I feel like that's part of it, is like being able to sit at the table and have a conversation, even though if there's, animals being served, like you just have to just be there and be open to speaking to people about it and understanding that, we've all, most of us, except for a few, lucky ones that were raised vegan,
most of us grew up on eating animals without really a second thought, you know, and so I guess you have to come from a place of compassion, which can be really tough when you think about these animals and their lives that they endure to make it to the table. But I feel like you have more of an impact if you can. You don't want to create a war, you know, within the movement. So learning how to do that's impactful to whoever you're speaking with, but also with compassion and understanding, which is challenging. So that's been, I guess I have my days, my up and down days where, you know, like today, for instance, was a really rough day. I don't know why, you know, you may know you go through these days where you're just like, I can't believe this is still a thing. Can't believe we're still doing this, you know, but change takes time. You know, I think, I mean, even just people having, you know, slaves that took 400 years to change that. So, you just have to keep looking forward and, let those moments of frustration be, inspiring. And say, you know, like for me, if I am feeling sad about it or down, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do today that's going to make this better? What can I do today that will bring us a step closer to this change, and to making it better for these animals and for the planet and for the health of, you know, of us and wildlife. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, it will make everything better. Feeding the hunger. I mean, to me, it's like this, it's such a simple thing, but it's just going to take time. So
you said that you and your siblings went vegetarian at 11?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, my brothers, before I did.
So
yeah.
Kind of what's your origin story? Like what made that happen?
For me, well, I loved animals growing up, and I had horses growing up, dogs, cats, and I used to always pretend, you know, I was outside. I would go out with my friends, and I pretend it was my duty to like feed the wildlife, and I'd make these huge, you know, pots of like stew, you know, with like leaves and twigs and. I was outside all day, but I still during that time wasn't making the connection. I mean, even when I would go see my horse, Nickel was his name, and I would have my mom pick me up. Sometimes I would call her and say, "Can you get me, you know, a chicken sandwich and fries, or a cheeseburger and fries on the way here?" So I never really made that connection for a long time. Until 11, I honestly, like, it was because of my siblings, you know, and I don't really know, I'd be interested to talk to them as what made them do it. And I sometimes think it was like the cool thing to do, to be quite honest, even though it really wasn't, but it's like rebellious thing, within, you know, these age groups. And so I just made the choice, and I just decided, all right, I'm going to be vegetarian. And not like I was very healthy vegetarian. I was still eating, you know, kind of crappy food and cheese, obviously, and things like that. So, but as time went on, I traveled to Costa Rica, and I saw the land use for grazing and for growing food and for the animals and things like that. And then it just kind of became my life. Like, I just never went back. There were a few times when my dad would say, you need to get your, you know, at least eat fish and get those omega-3s and all this stuff. And so I would try and do that. But fish I never liked anyways, even when I was eating eating meat. I never liked fish. I never liked the texture, the taste, but I would try for him to make him happy. And, but that ended quickly. And then, only 6 years ago from today, or from six years ago, I became vegan. After learning more about the dairy industry and it being almost worse than the meat industry in some ways. I mean, they both support each other, but and so.
Was there a catalyst moment for that, or was it kind of more like a gradual progression?
It was a progression for sure. I wasn't, for a long time there, I wasn't buying dairy. I wasn't having it in the house, but I would eat it when I went out, say I got a pizza or went out to dinner. I would never say, no cheese or no butter or anything like that. I would just get a vegetarian meal. And then the last thing to go for me was cream in my coffee. Like that was the very last thing. For a long time there, was just having that and having it when I would go out to a restaurant. So I thought that I couldn't live without the cream in my coffee, and that ended, 6-7 years ago, and I still have coffee and it's better.
Do you look back on it and be like, why did I fucking care about the cream?
Yeah, I know. Seriously. And that is like, I really do, you hear people say this, but I wish, my regret really is like, gosh, I wish I would have known all of this earlier. Like I really wish that I became vegan like so long ago, so much longer ago, but we just didn't know. I mean, and that's why it's tough, because it's ingrained in us from such a young age that this is, you love your dog, you love your cat, you love your horse, you love your pets, but you eat animals, and we're taught this, and it's not necessarily our parents' fault, but it just becomes the norm. Like this is what you eat, this is what you buy at the store, this is how you get your protein and your calcium and your iron. It all comes from these animal products, and as time goes on, it's like, shit, that's a choice that you're free to make and actually get more nutrients from plant-based foods. And, but yeah, it's true. Like, really, the cream? Can't live without it. Yeah, and then so it's interesting. It's interesting to
I think
about these things now.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I think it was funny when you were saying your dad was always telling you, like, you need to try fish. You need to do fish. For the longest time, like all through high school, my mom was always coming to me like, well, if you're not vegan, you'll eventually eat fish. And even now, it's like 20 years later, she's like, well, I can still see you eating fish one day. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. You're like, wait, but that's not, Mom, that's not happening ever.
Yeah. But I mean, with my mom, it took her like 6-7 years into being vegan before she realized it wasn't a phase, Right. A phase, exactly. Yeah. But
and it's interesting now too, because people, like your parents and my dad for a long time was, well, at least eat chicken and fish, at least eat that. And, you read these studies now where actually chicken and fish are the most toxic out of all of the meats. But yet people think that is, I'm eating the healthier of the choices. But in actuality, it's fish being super toxic. If you think about the pollutants in the water and the fish absorb that, and then you have the mercury issue and you have all that crap in our oceans, and then people are eating that. And it's the same with the chicken as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that those are considered the healthier ones with the most nutrients, but they're actually the most toxic out of all of them. So.
One of the things that I found super interesting is that I like you, I went vegetarian at the age of 11, but then I went vegan at 13. And growing
wow.
up, I got a lot of that flack from my parents, but I never felt it from like extended family. And it wasn't until recently that I found out that my parents got it instead of me, and they just blocked it from me, if that makes sense. Like all my aunts and uncles and my grandma and grandpas were always like, how the hell can you let him do this? Why you need to stop? And like they shielded me from that. And I've always
Wow.
been curious if other kids like got that same type of shielding, or if they really got it like full brunt force from like extended family.
Wow. So your extended family would call your parents without you knowing and put pressure on them.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I just found this out like 2 years ago, like talking with my parents. They're like, you know, I was always like, oh, everyone was so accepting. They're like, no, they were not.
No, actually, they were going to kill us if we didn't get you guys to. Wow. So that's crazy. I'm just now, my parents never gave me any real crap about it. They were more coming from like, my dad's a doctor. So he was coming from that side of like, well, you need to get, you need to make sure you're getting this and this, and you can only get it from fish. You can only, which isn't true. But my extended family never really said anything as far as I know. Who knows? They could have been calling my parents, but never said anything to me. When I would be around, for all the holidays, I would just, eat anything that was vegetarian on the table, and that was it. So, it's interesting with my family too, because there's a lot of doctors. Both my uncles, my dad, my sister, brother, and so I sometimes feel like from a younger age, I've always been like the wild one, the one that, kind of rebels. And, growing up, I wore like all black and, dyed my hair and wore combat boots and all this stuff. So I feel like that's carried on into my, or at least their perception of me is somewhat carried on into the time now. So honestly, my aunt actually is very respectful. I think she gets me because she's the only female, so that she has 3 brothers who are all pretty successful and in medicine, and so she's actually really understanding. But the rest of my family kind of sees me, I think, still as like this. Oh, Lauren, she's just wild and has these beliefs and is rebelling. But now that I'm sending this information and they're seeing me with this, nonprofit that we have, Sage Mountain, and, kind of tackling these issues, they're starting to, well, she may actually be onto something here, because there's actually like backing and there's science. And and we'll see, I'll be around my whole family, not too much extended family this weekend, but there are, one uncle of mine is, he's tough to talk about this stuff with through email, but I don't know. Well, as time goes on, I don't, in a way, I don't care. It's like if family's going to see me in a way that's like I'm still a child, then that's not my fault.
You're choosing your words very carefully, and I everyone has that asshole uncle. Like, it's fine. Like,
everybody has that uncle.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and like, so my whole family is also on this like email thread that my uncle started, and it's like, it's so many people on this thread, and so he'll often send out these emails, and a lot of times I don't respond because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe this is even being said right now. But there have been a few recently where we've actually been responding, and they haven't been able to kind of respond back, because I think that they're looking at me like, whoa, there's actually, what do you say to that? This is all logic. This is all very true. Mm-hmm. What do you say? So, extended family.
So how did you go from, being vegetarian to learning about the dairy industry and making the transition to veganism into activism and then the sanctuary?
I knew I wanted to do something for farm animals. And we originally, Dave and I had originally thought we were going to do a horse rescue. That was our original plan. But we weren't going to do it until we were in our mid-40s, just because the timing wasn't right. We didn't have the property and this and that. And then we saw this property a few years ago for a really good price in Browns Canyon, and we just had to get it. And so we decided, well, I guess we are doing this now. And momentum just kind of kicked in, and it was right when I had seen the film Cowspiracy, and that really inspired me in terms of the environmental impact. And I kind of felt the momentum of like, wow, this is really, it's time. The time is right now to do this. And so, and learning more and more about the plight of these animals. Like I can't wait. I can't wait any longer. And Dave was on board completely. And we got the property and we built the house, and now have a few shelters, and we should be up and running by next spring or summer. We have a few more things to do with the facility. But our main focus has been education, and advocacy. We're trying to get this thing called Food Print Park City passed through the city, which allows for more plant-based items in restaurants up here, which is surprising. There's not a lot. And within the school systems, within the workplaces, in Park City, and then doing different talks throughout the city, throughout the town here, Park City, and educating people about food choices and its impact that it has, and how it really is. It's simple and it's free, which the city was, they widened their eyes on that, because it's true. It's like we're talking about getting, electric cars in the city and this and that, and everyone has solar panels, and like here's something that is going to have more of an impact, and it's free. And that, you'll see, the reduction of CO2 would take 200 years to really start seeing a difference. But if you switch to a plant-based diet, you have a much larger impact. It's only, a few years you start to really see the difference. So if people were to eat more plant-based meals, it's not, eliminate completely meat and dairy, eggs, and fish, but at least reduce, it would have a much larger impact than, buying electric cars, and which is still important. I'm not saying it's not important, but much larger impact than buying cars and changing light bulbs and things like that, and taking shorter showers. And so that's what we're doing. That's our main focus is just trying to educate and raise awareness. And then the animals out here that we'll have, which will probably have 12 at the most, will just be, obviously ambassadors for the movement, where people can come out here and connect with them and realize that these animals are deserving of, dignity and respect and care. And hopefully that will, change people and make that connection when they sit down to have a meal.
You mentioned like the lack of really vegan options up in Park City, and that has always surprised me, because for Utah it's a very liberal area, it's a very touristy area, and you would expect it just to have more options, but there's really not much up there.
There's not. I mean, Yeah, it's very surprising. I just, even a new restaurant opened on Main Street a couple of weeks ago, and it's the same stuff. The same menu, overpriced, and not any veggie or vegan. Maybe there's one vegetarian that's risotto or something like that, but it is surprising. However, there are a few. The other night went to Red Rock out at the junction there. I hadn't been there in a long time, and they have more options now, vegan and vegetarian. On the bottom, it can be made vegan upon request, which is new to have on that menu. But yeah, it's definitely surprising. Salt Lake has a ton. Mm-hmm. I feel like Salt Lake is getting more and more. They're getting more options, more just even vegan, just full vegan restaurants. And obviously, I would love to have a few vegan restaurants up here, but that may be a while. But if we can have at least, options. You walk into the restaurant and just like there's gluten-free options. Okay, there's vegan options. There's at least like 5 different things you can choose. And most restaurants up here are good about if you ask, like, oh, can you make this, dairy-free, meat, vegan? Usually they will, but a lot of times you get like a plate of, grilled veggies and it's pretty small. So I think it's more about like, and this is what Foodprint wants to do. We want to do a Foodprint is kind of give people, in these restaurants, give the chefs, give the owners, maybe even like a cookbook or something that has these to show that it's not hard to make these options. Like, it really isn't hard. And I think that's what the issue is that, oh, it's hard. I don't know how to make this stuff. I don't know what do we use, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually really simple. So that's a goal of ours, is to get more options out there. Because I think that people, even if they're not vegetarian or vegan, there's a study that shows that 57% of people at least like to have the option in the restaurants. And we did a meet out, was it 2 years ago, a campaign, and 10 restaurants joined, and it went really well. And, and so I was like, oh, this could be it. This could be the start. And then I went back. A lot of them were like, no, I don't think we're going to have that on the menu. It's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? But a few, I think, are open to it. Handle has been really good up here, being open to options like that. And that's a great restaurant. And 501 Main is another one that has like vegan chili and vegan chicken things and things like that. So there are a few. It's just we need more.
So I can't imagine the type of hurdles that you have to go through to start a sanctuary. Like, it just seems like just mind-boggling to be like, I want to do this. Oh, fuck, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So, like, what does it actually entail to get one of these things off the ground?
Well, yeah, it's interesting, and sometimes we surprise ourselves too, because like, I can't believe that we're now doing this. Like, this is actually happening. It started as this dream. I mean, literally, we wrote this 6 years ago on a napkin in like a cafe. We were visiting Santa Barbara, and we just wrote this down, and we thought, oh, this will happen, when we're in our mid-40s. And so we, wrote out our mission a few times and vision of what we wanted to do and accomplish. And then you got to go through everything, like, getting a 501c3, which took over a year to actually get accepted for that. And then building, we knew we wanted to live on the property. So during building out here, that's when we applied for the 501c3, and then built this home and said, okay, we got to hold off, obviously, on building facility until we're out there and we can see, we can live in the home for a little bit and see where we want everything and how we can, kind of organize, okay, we're going to have fencing here, we're going to have a shelter here, where's the light at this time of day, so it'll be warm and, block the wind, things like that. So that took, quite some time. And then when we moved out here is when really momentum started kind of kicking in. We had our 501c3. I built a website and just started getting the word out there. And so now we've been involved with Live PC, Give PC, which is a local kind of fundraising day for different, I think there's like 86 nonprofits in the area. And that's been huge for us. And this year we tripled what we made last year, which was our first year. And so that was huge. And I think the main thing for us was getting our name out there. We made postcards with our mission and pictures on there and where we're located and our web address and made stickers and things like that, which took a little bit of money, but wasn't bad. And just talk to people. I mean, honestly, like every day, like my partner Dave, he's really good about every day I try and talk to one person about what we're doing, and so it just started gaining momentum and then we started putting newsletters out this last year, and I started, Natalie and Aaron, two good friends of mine that are kind of joined on board, and we have a great team. It's small, but it's a great team, and people are starting to catch on to what we're doing. And in Park City, people actually do love animals, with Friends of Animals here and Paws and things like that. So it's a new, I think people are open to it because it does involve animals, and people here do like animals, and so you try and get people that are that care about their dogs and cats to see these animals as the same. So it's been very busy, and but every day, like I said, it's like, okay, what am I going to do today? And I'm learning as I go. We all are. I mean, I on how to advertise and how to market and how to. We had those. We started this thing last summer called Thirsty First Thursday, which is for 4 months every summer we have a bar or restaurant agree to kind of host this event, and we have plant-based food served, and people buy drinks, and then we always would have like a speaker, and those went really well to raise awareness about what we're doing, and so we'll continue that every summer, and maybe have one or two large events every year as well, and just to get people together and hear about what we're doing and why. And so, yeah, that's how it's and strange to think about. It's like we're in this momentum of just, all right, here we go, we're going. So it's awesome, and I love meeting people in the Salt Lake community too, and how we can kind of join forces and build coalitions. I think that's really important to all work together, and so having Ching down in Salt Lake and having the Salt Lake City vegan community is huge, and trying to build coalitions up here as well, and with like Recycle Utah, and there's a new one coming that's we're starting to work with Alpine Collective, just how can we all work together, because we all are trying to the bottom line is making the world a better place. So how can we all work together on some of these issues? So that's been helpful too in our growth.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
That's okay.
From a completely, this is just me being selfish, I would absolutely love it if you guys could do a child camp, like a summer camp. I've always been looking one for our daughter, and I know that Woodstock is now doing it, but that's all the way out in New York. So if you could do that, I would totally take my daughter every year.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, that is definitely in the plan, to have at least have kids programs out here. The problem is, maybe we could do something with, actual camping out here. I think that'd be really cool. I think the issue is that we can only have so many buildings on the property. So right now, with our house and then having a few shelters, and then we're going to have a larger barn, we are kind of at capacity. But we're going to figure that out. So we can, whether it's, having, say we have a yurt or we have, tents or things like that and make it really cool. I definitely want to have kids camp out here, or at least day camp or something like that, where kids can come out for, at least every day for a few weeks and have different programs. That is definitely in the plan.
Well, if you're open to it, I own a tent. I can just come camp.
Okay. Perfect.
No, but
that's perfect.
Yeah, having the kid programs I think is super important. It's something I know my daughter can get really into, and she always is trying to invite friends to do things like that. So it's just a huge, ability to do those things.
Right. I totally agree. And, I think camping actually is even better than staying in a building because, I love camping, and kids, I think, to learn how to, kind of live and sleep outside and reconnect to nature too, because that's part of what we are wanting to do out here too is, our goal isn't to just have all these animals out here, grazing the land. That's we want to take in a few and give a good life to a handful, but we also want to be respectful of the wildlife out here. There's elk and deer, and we've seen a moose, we've seen coyotes, there are hawks that come out that live out here. It's absolutely beautiful. So to connect kids with that too is huge, as well as, learning to care for these animals and love them, because kids are way more open, obviously, than adults, in some ways, because kids are born, we all were born with this innate compassion to care and love for animals, and then we just kind of get brainwashed into thinking that we eat some and we love some. But, I think that really kids are amazing because they're open and loving and have that compassion for all beings. And I think we all did, but we just got steered in the wrong direction. So we're in. We will definitely do that.
well, that's awesome.
I will let you know.
But just be warned, sometimes they're little shits too.
What's that?
I said sometimes kids are just little shits too.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I don't have kids, but I was a kid, so I know that I was a shit to my mom. I think about that often, and I've apologized. And yes, I know. How old you are? You have a daughter?
Yeah, she's 9.
9, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's a handful, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. I bet. Girls, yep, girls.
No, you got to follow that up. What do you, please warn me. What do you mean by that?
I think girls can be tough. I watch girls and how they are with each other, and I think that they, they're fiery, and I was at least, and I was, I cared about, I definitely cared about animals and had like this, definitely a soft heart, but I could be mean, and I was mean to my mom. I wasn't as mean to my dad because I was a little more afraid of him, and so he never did anything bad, but he was a powerful man, and but yeah, I think girls can be. I watch my friends that have girls, and they're feisty creatures, and they're fiery, and they can be hurt easily by other girls, and I sometimes worry about that because girls can be mean to each other.
You're just describing the movie Mean Girls.
Yes, but you have to, as a father, don't you think about, okay, when my daughter is 16 and she's starting to get her best friends and get her, boys looking at her, and does that worry you at all? You just got to.
Not the boys part, but I already see how she is with her friends, and it amazes me the on and off they are with each other, the fights that they have, and it's over the dumbest shit, and then they hate each other for 2 weeks, and then they love each other for 2 weeks,
and then they're best friends again. Yeah,
it totally blows my mind. I don't get it at all. And I'm not saying that all girls are this way. This is just my daughter, but yes, it blows my mind.
No, I mean, I was like that. I had my best friend, and we did everything together, but then there were times when she would talk about me behind her back, and I would talk about her, and then we would fight, and then we'd be back to being BFFs, all the time, for weeks. And then it was hot and cold.
Yeah. Fun and exciting.
I wonder if it's worse in Utah, because Utah just has that kind of backstabbing mentality, I feel.
Oh, I thought you were going to say more of the patriarchal, overarching, defined roles for women.
Well, that too, but I think there's a lot of backstabbing and a lot of.
Yeah, what is that?
I think it really has to. It comes from the culture, the religious culture.
Yeah, it must.
But it definitely leaks into the vegan scene as well.
But to be fair, most scenes suffer from it to some extent.
Yeah, it could be because they're growing up on eating animals, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, let's just say that. We'll stick with that.
How do we hate each other for 2 weeks and then be friends for 2 weeks? That's what I want to know.
Oh my
gosh.
I'm just kidding. But earlier you mentioned Pause, and Pause, isn't that affiliated with Best Friends? Or am I thinking different?
They might be. No, I think I want to say Friends of Animals used to be an arm of Best Friends originally, but then they now broke off to be Nuzzles. Their new name is Nuzzles & Co. They're not Friends of Animals anymore. Now, Pause, I don't know. Are they? I'm not sure. I didn't know they...
For some reason in my mind, they're linked together, and I don't know why. Maybe I've seen them do stuff together before, and that could be
yeah.
it. But my question was really, do you get help from these larger organizations like that? Have any of them expressed any help, or maybe have you reached out to any of them?
No, no. Well, a little bit with Nuzzles & Co. because we're near them. I mean, we're near their ranch that they have. Mm-hmm. We're literally not even we're a tenth of a mile from them. They're on the other side of the road of Browns Canyon. So they've just kind of expressed interest in what we're doing, and I've spoken to them. I went to them originally and told them what we are doing because I didn't want them to feel first I wanted them to know, just to know. And second of all, I knew that we were going to be close to them, and I just wanted them to know, you know, we're not doing dogs and cats, we're doing farm animals, and, you know, we'd love to work with you guys in terms of raising awareness about animals in general. And the girl then was actually really open to it, and then she ended up leaving. So I don't know what's going on with them as much. I'll do things every once in a while, like just through social media, and say here are these puppies, or there's these dogs at Nuzzles and Co. Go check them out. Here's a picture, you know, things like that. But I haven't really heard too much from them. And with the others, not so much. But I don't think that's intentional. I just don't know. You know, I know that these organizations, you get busy, and but in terms of like other organizations like Recycle Utah and Alpine Collective and things like that, they are a little more interested in what we're doing and helping. And I understand, like I you know, I never want to, which I don't think we are. We're not. And that's just even a weird word to use, threat. Like, it's just so weird to even say that, because we're all working for the same thing. But I guess I understand that it can be seen as a threat, like, oh, this is another animal organization, and they might raise more than us and this and that. I don't know if that's, I don't even think it shouldn't be an issue, because it's a totally different, you know, totally different mission. So I think that the more that my vision is that if we work together, you know, the more impact we can have, just in terms of raising, you know, awareness for the larger picture, which is, you know, animals, and making their lives better. So that's my hope. Whether or not that happens, I'm not sure.
I could see like nonprofits, like not using the word threat, but feeling that. But I would hope not.
Well,
I would hope not too. Even with like Ching Farm, like I totally support her. I go to her functions and have spoken to her, and I never want it to be, you know, like this. Oh, well, there's two now, or it's just weird. Like I hope that it can be a group effort, because when you take yourself out of it, you know, and you think about the bigger picture, it's like, yeah, of course, let's work together.
Yeah.
You know?
I do know, I have heard nonprofits talk about how there's only a certain amount of funding you can get from like a general population. And so it divvying it out among, you know, like it doesn't really grow very much over years. So it's just like sometimes some people will donate to, you know, nonprofit A, and then the next year they'll donate to nonprofit B. But, you know, very rarely do they do both at the same time.
Right, totally. Yeah, and that makes sense. Yeah. I guess I'm thinking more in terms of awareness more than I'm thinking of, you know, funding.
But, I mean, we see that in the general animal rights community, too, where you get, like, the larger animal rights groups that are the nonprofits, and, you know, they're fighting for funding from the same crowd as well. But, you know, they still have to work together, because it's like you said, we have the same goal. Like, you know, let's all make the fight and take it to the people who really, you know, that it needs to be against.
Yeah, yes. Big picture.
Yeah, yeah. So
big picture.
Where do you plan to get all of your animals from?
Well, we are already, so we obviously networking with different organizations like Humane Society. I would love to work with Mercy for Animals and different organizations in the area to kind of be on their list in terms of if they have a situation where they get animals out of a, you know, whether it's through undercover or whatever it is, we want to be one of their people, you know, to go to. But it has to be, our main rule is that it has to be written down like through law enforcement, because if no owner surrenders whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So we do not take animals that someone just doesn't want anymore or can't care for anymore. That's not our goal at all, because if we did that, then we would get, which I already have gotten a ton of calls. So we just don't want to get bombarded with tons of animals like that. So obviously in those situations I try and help and I steer them in other directions. But for our situation, I mean, my goal would be to take in animals where they're, like I said, like a feedlot situation or slaughterhouse was shut down or something like that, and we are the next step. So that's, and we are sticking only to, agribusiness animals, the farm pigs, we're not going to take potbellies, we're not going to take teacup pigs, which is going to be very hard. I've talked to many sanctuaries that have said, you're going to be saying no more than yes, which I have to, prepare.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as we stick to that goal and those guidelines, then I'm hoping that we'll be okay.
Are you guys open to volunteers at this point or into the future? Like have a system set up where people can come and actually donate their time?
We did have a few volunteer days. People came and built some fencing and another chicken coop. So we did have, I think, 3 volunteer days this last summer. But right now, no. I mean, now that it's getting colder, we're going to be fencing in the whole property, and that's something that we're going to have, like a contractor come and do, because that's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And so that we won't have volunteers again until we have animals, is what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. And will you announce like when you'll be doing that so people can actually jump up for the opportunity?
Oh yes, I will definitely be through our newsletters and through Facebook and Instagram. I know I got to get on Twitter. I haven't done that yet. We will definitely make it known that we are ready, for sure.
I'm mainly asking for myself because I really want to make the drive up there, and it just sounds like a lot of fun. And actually, it is a lot of fun when you do those things. I love it.
Yeah, well, you can come up whenever and just see the property. I mean, the property is beautiful, and the one, we have a pig shelter and we have 2 chicken coops, but no animals yet, because the facility is not finished. But to see just the area is actually, it's beautiful. The views are beautiful. There's deer, all this, like I said, there's tons of wildlife here. But yeah, you're welcome anytime. You just have to let me know. And
what was last year your first winter up there?
We actually moved. Yeah. So we moved in February, and we actually were really lucky because there was no snow. I mean, last year was a pretty bad snow year, and we were able to drive like the moving truck up here and load everything. So yes, we've been here since February, and like I said, this last winter wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
We do have a plow. What's that?
I was just gonna say, yeah, this last winter was like really kind of mild compared to where it normally is.
Yeah. So we do have a snow plow. We have, because the road can be pretty treacherous. It's a long dirt road that goes up to the property. So we have a plow. We have a what are they called? Not jet skis. What is it?
A
snowmobile. We have a snowmobile.
Yeah.
A snow machine for times when we can't get up the road. So yeah, we'll see what happens this winter. Supposedly it's supposed to be a lot of snow, which I hope.
I think we're expecting snow down here tomorrow. Are you guys expecting the same thing?
Yes. It's like 4 to 7 inches up here.
Yeah, I'm not
Like
looking forward to that.
No, I know, because we got to leave Thursday morning early, and we'll probably have to plow before we go on the road.
The good thing is for you is that I-80, they keep really clean in the winter.
What's that?
The Parley's Canyon, they keep it really nice most of the winter, so it's really not that bad driving up and down. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So that's always nice. But I do not look forward to your first winter up there. It's supposed to be a hell of a winter this year with El Nino.
I know. We're as prepared as we can be. I don't know what else to say. Gosh, it's going to be it's different than we're used to, but I think, we'll see. That's all I can say.
well, how can people?
Snow. And the wind gets bad. The wind is what makes the snow drifts and makes it tough to drive through and see. So,
and it makes it so much colder.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
So much colder.
If you don't have snowshoes, you'll need them.
We have snowshoes.
Okay.
Yes.
I know that's a mistake. A lot of people don't realize that you really do need them.
Yes. I don't mind snowshoeing, but more when it's for fun, like out on the trail, snowshoeing.
There's a big difference out of necessity than choosing to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. We've talked about it because say we get home and you have to use a snowmobile, right? Say you're coming home from work, you have to use a snowmobile. You need to make sure you have snow clothes in your car at all times.
Yep.
You can't just show up with your pants and nice shoes and a shirt. You have to be. So that's a new thought we've just recently had. Shit, we need to have clothes in the car, hats, gloves, the whole boots, the whole bit. Because they have to take the snowmobile up. You're going to be freezing if you don't have gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what I mean. We're new to this, but I think that we are getting prepared.
Well, how can people follow what the sanctuary is doing and you can get involved?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question.
Oh, sorry. How can people follow what the sanctuary is doing, on your website or social media, and hopefully get involved in the future or partake in fundraising campaigns and things like that?
Yeah. So we're on, Facebook and Instagram, and we send out newsletters. Obviously, people can. I just we're slowly gathering more and more email addresses to send newsletters out there. So that's a huge. We do that every 3 weeks. We send a newsletter out. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, website. We blog once a week on our website. So yeah, it's sagemountain.org, or what is it? No, sagemtn.org is the web address.
Well, perfect. We'll put that in the show notes for everyone. Well, I thank you so much for taking your time out tonight with us. I sincerely hope you have a wonderful trip back to see your family, and it's a great wedding.
Oh, thanks so much. Well, thank you for reaching out, and let me know if I can do anything else for you guys.
Oh, we're the ones that should be saying that to you. Let's be honest.
Oh, well, but thanks. I really appreciate it. So, and let me know if I can do anything else. I'm repeating myself.
Okay. Well, have a good night.
All right, you too.
Okay.
Right.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
This week you heard
Megan by Anesthesia.
Right now you're listening to
Afternight by Trans Am.
iTunes. If you haven't already, go rate and review us. The majority of you haven't. That's just a simple fact. For the ones that have, I love you all. Thank you so much. But if you haven't and you got this far, it's free content. Please consider taking a minute out of your time and just doing it for us. It's super simple and helps out the show tremendously.
And if you leave a review, maybe we'll read it on the air. Maybe.
It's a maybe. But yeah, we will. We'll totally will.
If you haven't yet become our friend, do so. Like us, friend us, follow us. Whatever the social media equivalent is for the social media platform of your choice, do it.
And we'll do that same thing back.
Yeah, we're cool. And we like to talk to our friends. So be our friend. WhичSidePodcast.com. Click on the social tab. If you haven't yet become a member of Which Side Podcast, you should do so. You get tons of exclusive bonus content, as well as free stuff from the Which Side Collective store. So just go to WhичSidePodcast.com, click on the members tab, and find out how you can become a member.
And then fuck shit up, damn it.
Fuck shit, damn.
Which Side Podcast is hosted and produced by Jordan Halliday and Jeremy Parkin of the Which Side Media Collective, with web design by Jordan Halliday and sound design by Jeremy Parkin. Booking by Mari Halliday. Theme music by Commandantes. Go to whichsidecollective.org to check out the other shows in the collective. As always, fuck shit damn.